everyone, welcome back to the channel. The stitch for me that I planned to do at some point during, the first half of the week at least, didn't get round to it. Headaches, tired, cold. If you've got cold hands you can't stitch. End up stabbing myself multiple times. So yeah, it's here today. I'm not too bad today. We've had absolutely shocking weather. We've gone from sort of, being able to just wear a jacket outside when we do Ellie's papers to having to wear an extremely thick jumper plus my jacket. It snowed yesterday. There was snow on the floor again when we got up this morning. By the way, I'm working on my pandemic just in case you aren't unaware of what this is. Oh, nuts. There we go. So, yeah, snow's gone now, weirdly. We've had a bit of sunshine, dinner time. And it's got rid of all of it. Ouch. So, some kids have had a long weekend. Those that go to school. So, yeah, it's been shockingly cold. I have this massively thick jumper that has a massive collar on it. I tell you what, it keeps me warm, but yesterday it was actively snowing as me and Ellie were doing our papers. So it all rested on the collar of my jumper, which meant it was soaking wet by the time I got home. Yeah. And despite, trying to dry it and stuff, the neck was still slightly wet this morning. I just think I hadn't turned it the right way. Oh, nuts. There we go. I am working where you can just about see it in the camera. Yeah. I've got two cats that I like, especially Binks. He's half bald, but the vets have said it could take a few months of treatment now for him to actually start getting better. He's very sensitive. He has mites, so we have to get the special one from the vet for the back of his neck. It is working because, he did have the top of his head bald as well, and behind, sort of going onto his neck, was a bit bald as well. That's all gone. That's grown back, but it's down around his tail now and the back of his legs. They've said, yeah, they've migrated south because they didn't like the poison on his neck up north. So yeah, it's going to take a few months, and he hasn't been out in the last couple of days because it has just been way too cold. It's cold when Binks doesn't want to go out, and he hasn't. This afternoon, I think it's the first time in 2 days. He had a good look out the window first, though. He sat on the windowsill, scoping out the back garden. And after sort of 10-15 minutes, he decided, right, okay, I think it's okay now, I'll go out. Luna, she's not fussed. Summertime she'll be out in the garden all the time. You'll barely see her in summer. I say you never see her at all, it's us. We'll never see her in summer. She'll be flaked out in the garden somewhere, or trotting around. She just tends not to go too far. She's quite not scared, but cautious. And then Binks, the little bugger, you'll see him chasing her into the house sometimes. They were bopping each other. Was it this morning? No, yesterday? No. No, actually, it was this morning. Do you know, I've had a lot go on. I forget when it was. We've kept the living room door shut just because the sun's in my front room a lot during the afternoon. We keep the living room door shut just to keep the heat in the front. And Luna was inside the front room. Binks was just outside the door. Luna was picking the door open, and as soon as she picked the door open, you saw Binks's paw come out, and they started having a scrap in the gap in the door. And then the door would slowly close again, and then Luna would pick it open again, and they start scrapping again. They don't hurt each other. I think they're just playing, but it's highly hilarious to stand there and watch. They're so funny. Luna, because it's quite cold now, she's taken a couple of nights to sleeping on Ellie's head. She'll get on the pillow right above Ellie's head and curl up so that, you know, the heat from Ellie's head is directly on her. Binks usually does that. But I found him camping on the kitchen side when I get up in the morning. Yeah, I've been working a lot. I say a lot. I haven't really done much this week so far. Just for once my hands are cold, it's kind of hard because it's hard to warm them back up again. My hands and my feet are the hardest things, and they go cold first, as well as my nose. But I mean, the energy prices here in the UK are shocking, absolutely shocking. Rob found an article about, oh my goodness, who was it? Do you know what, I can't for the life of me think who it was, but no, I don't need that one. It was about one of these energy companies, and they were on about the wages that the head boss, the CEO, had recently. His wages have doubled, and yet, you know, the general population can't afford to keep up with their heating bills, and I just think it's disgusting. You know, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm sure they'd have a lot to say about it. But it's not, so what do they care? So yeah, putting food on the table is way more important because they can keep warm. I've got an electric fire in the front, and if it drops too cold, I'll put that on. And they've all got, you know, clothes, jumpers, hoodies, sweaters. Saying that, no matter how cold it is, Riley will still walk around in just his boxer shorts, and I think he's crazy. But he'll grab his school books and he'll go and tuck himself off up in bed. The front room's warmer and I've got the dining table, but no. He prefers upstairs, in his bed, for as long as he's doing his work. I can't complain. I can already feel the cold on my feet. It's 5:15. The sun, because we've got a row of shops directly out my window there, and on top of those shops are maisonettes. I don't know if anyone else outside the UK even has a clue what maisonettes are. They might be called something else in a different country, but what it is, it's like not a flat on top of a building, it's a house on top of a building, but obviously there's no back garden because you're on top of a building. It's still two floors, so you've got the downstairs, the living area, and then you've got the upstairs, the bedrooms. And in the winter, the sun goes behind those maisonettes quite early. See, it's gone behind them already now, and it's only 5:15. So you lose the heat in the front room pretty quick when that goes. I really wish they'd knock them down, to be honest. The bad side to them is they've all got like tiny little balconies. Their back door is this side, and they've got little balconies that they come out and sit on. But then when we're sitting in the garden, everyone up there can see us. And it's like there's no privacy. There we go. So that's the downside. I wish they'd knock them down. They're just unsightly. They're big places, don't get me wrong. I think one of them's a 4-bedroom. But they just don't have a garden. But yeah, in summer, my garden's a sun trap, very much so. So it gets really hot and there's not much of a breeze. One short. So we have to get the brollies out in summer if we even want to think about sitting in the garden. And one brolly's not enough. I've got one sort of small-ish one and I've got one pretty big one. And the pretty big one, even as big as it is, you have to keep moving your chair as the sun goes over. So what we do is we put the big one up through the table, because there's a hole in my table outside for the brolly. And then I've got a stand for the other one, so I have to use them both. And then you'll always find Binks usually lounging on the table with us, because he knows it's cooler under there as well. I've got a tiny knot. Okay, and I can't get it, hang on. See, look, I told you it was tiny. Do you know, I haven't even got my glasses on. Luna, that's my rug, love. Aaron Binks are buggers for clawing that rug. I think I might have pulled that stitch a bit too tight now. Hey, look, I'm going to have to unthread. If I try and go back through with my needle, it's going to come out wrong. And I'll end up having it more knotted than it was before. Hold on. I've got to pull that one out. Hey, that one's come out. You got a fur ball there, Luna. Let's just pull that and loosen it a little. I apologise if you can hear my cat. You know. She's got no shame, that cat. She'll throw up a fur ball anywhere, anytime. You okay? Yeah, don't do that. It makes it worse. Ellie's giving her a little pat on the back, try and give her a hand. Do you know, Luna's the only one I think I've ever seen throw up a fur ball. I don't think I've ever seen Binks do it. No, I've gone in the wrong one. My concentration. Miss one. You finished now, Luna. Anyway, I haven't worked on Pandemic for quite a little while, so I thought, you know what, I'd better get it out. It's been a long time in the making. So, I did a little bit yesterday. And then I stopped stitching for the day then. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Right at the beginning, I have been working on one of my stamped cross-stitch kits. My new Toy Story one. Everyone's a Toy Story fan in this house, I think, except Rob. You know, just me and the kids. Riley especially. It's funny, really. We were talking about Toy Story the other day and, like, how old the original one is. And I remember, I think it was 95. I was 8. No, I wasn't. 18. 17. I'm sure it was 95. It might have been 94, you know. Anyway, it was around there. I went with my brother and his girlfriend to the cinema. And we watched the first Toy Story at the cinema. I didn't have any kids then. And I think Riley was just a bit shocked at exactly how old it is. You've looked it up, haven't you, Ellie? March 96. Oh, wow. That's a couple of years out. Yeah, I didn't have Reese till I was 20... I think I just turned 23. And then several years later, and 3 more kids later. But we have some laughs. Every morning, I think me and Ellie end up having a laugh on our paper round. It's not even ours, it's hers. I just give her a hand because there's so many. There's 2 paper rounds in one. And do you know what? We were wetting ourselves hang on, was it yesterday? I put all the papers in order. So I thought. And when it come to one that I knew she'd got, and usually I pull it out and I go and deliver this particular one, I couldn't find it. And then when I delivered, I think 4 more after that, I found it. But I'd given them someone else's at that point. And Ellie thinks it's highly hilarious that I'm so daft. I think she sorted the papers out this morning just because she didn't want me making a mistake. And then I ended up... What happens is, Ellie will have the first half of the paper round in her bag and I'll have the second half in mine. Because we have a certain order that we do them in. And then when it comes to mine, one of the first ones of mine that I pull out, I give it to her, she delivers it. But then when I got to the next one, which is like in the same road, it wasn't there. And like... I remember putting it in order and I remember it being there because I know the lady in the shop didn't do it wrong because I saw it. And I had to give him one of Tyler's because I carry Tyler's with me in the morning and I'd bring him home ready for him. So I had to pinch one of Tyler's to give to the one because I know what papers they have. So I gave the one after one of Tyler's. And then as we got to the third one, which is further up the road, we figured out what I must have done. The first paper I gave Ellie, I'd obviously given her 2, not realised, folded them together. And he had 3 papers that day. So then I had to go back to the shop and tell the lady in the shop. It's a good job I know him very well. So the problem is, as soon as I walk in the shop, she looks at me and says, "What did I do?" Because I don't normally go back to the shop in the morning. I just, when I'm finished, go home with Ellie. So if I walk in the shop, she'll go, "Oh my God, what did I do?" And I had to laugh and I said, "It wasn't you this time." I think she died of shock. There's usually something wrong with the papers. But she's dead good. She labels all my papers in the morning. See, there's that "my" again. They're not even mine. So yeah, usually a paper round is quite funny for us. And yesterday, and especially yesterday with the snow, oh my gosh, me and Ellie, I don't know how many times our foot slipped and we grab onto the other one and yeah, it didn't happen quite so much today. I think Ellie slipped a couple of times, but today the snow was like slush and I think that's what made it, I don't know, not slippy, but you know, it'd slide from under your feet. And then Ellie said, "Oh, it'll probably snow some more later." Don't say that. You know, last time it snowed, wasn't that the beginning of the year? I think it was, because that's when I fell over. Told you guys I'm accident prone, and she's no better. Ellie is just as bad as I am. So between us, one of us is going down for sure. It's just it's a toss-up as to who it is. I pray for her because she's younger. You know, her joints aren't as well, I can't say that. I was going to say they're not as flexible as mine, but they are. Ellie's got hypermobility as well, which was only discovered after she broke her ankle. Which, oddly enough, they only discovered in me after I broke mine. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, my joints hurt. And if I fall over and whack my knee on the floor, which I did, you know, it hurts. There's this one gentleman we deliver to. He's an elderly not elderly. He's an elderly gentleman, and he's got this absolutely gorgeous dog. And every morning, without fail, as soon as I walk up the path to go to his front door, you hear the dog. Or if he doesn't, he hears me when I'm just opening the letterbox and putting his paper through. And he'll jump up into the living room window, which is right next door to the front door. And he's wagging his tail and he's barking his head off. And I wave at them both every morning. Without fail, he's in that window. And he's this little black... I say little, he's not so little. What kind of dog would I put him to the size of? Do you know what? I have no idea. He's not a small dog. He's not like... I've lost the name of the dog I was thinking of. Chihuahua? That's the one. He's bigger than a Chihuahua. And what's the other one? A Bichon Frise? Something like that. He's bigger than that. But not as big as perhaps a Husky. And he's got black curly fur. And he's absolutely gorgeous. And because he's black, I can barely see him in the window. I can just see his red collar most of the time. Because he's silhouetted through the window. But he's so gorgeous. See him every morning. And then we have this little black and white cat that we see every morning called Mittens. I've probably told you about her before. I know the owner. And her sister keeps joking, take the cat home. She won't notice, take the cat home. But we see quite often her sitting on somebody else's windowsill because there's about 4 houses or 5 houses in a row there. And some mornings we'll see her sitting on somebody else's window because I know which house she lives in. And then... Is that what it is?
I don't know. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It does look like it. But that's brown, not black. Let's have a look. See, Ellie's just, as she does, instead of doing her schoolwork, she sits there noting things I'm saying and looking it up. This reminds us of that dog, but black. Sort of curly fur. Top. Anyway, the cat, Mittens, her name is. We asked her how old she is, and she said 5. And we both just sort of looked at each other. She still looks like a 1-year-old. She's only small, but she's gorgeous. And she doesn't meow. It's like this silent meow that she does. You can see her mouth open and do the, you know, the motion for a meow, but nothing comes out. And we'll pick her up, and we spend perhaps 5 minutes just giving her a fuss. And if you stop, she'll rub her head on your face. She is just adorable. Yeah, kind of. That looks like the same dog.
Cockapoo.
A cockapoo. Oh, and every morning. Do you know what? I never heard them this morning. There's this one particular road we go down, and most mornings, bar this morning, somebody somewhere has got these 2 cockerels. Every morning, like 7:30ish, you can hear them doing their call. And I just think I'm so glad I don't live next door to them. Especially in summer, because the sun rises at like 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. And they'd be doing it at that time in the morning, because they crow when the sun comes up, don't they? And they're big as well, we've seen them. They must have, I don't know if they got out or the owners let them have a bit of freedom. But out the front of that particular row of houses, there's a massive patch of grass. And the one morning we were going round and we could see them just like picking at the dirt on the grass. Oh, stop it. We have some fun on our paper end every morning. We can have some right conversations as well. Trying to think what the last funny thing was we talked about. I don't know, but some mornings, you know, she can walk most of the paper end and not even speak to me once. And then, like, just out of nowhere, I'll go, that was a riveting conversation, now. Thanks for the, you know, the company. And she'll start laughing. And then just carry on, you know, ignoring me. I think it's her age. Half the time she's on her phone, and I keep telling her, you got to watch where you're walking. You can't just walk with your head in your phone. It wasn't her phone's fault that this particular time, but she nearly walked into a lamppost. Oh my gosh, if I hadn't have spoke up when I did, she would have hit it. She was holding her coat up. She was looking at her coat. But she got it like up in front of her face because she was studying it. For whatever reason. And I happened to say to her at the last second, Ellie, lamppost. And she put the coat down, and I'm not kidding you, it must have been that far in front of her face. I've walked into a lamppost when I was younger. The problem I had when I was her age is if I was walking and someone was talking to me, and like perhaps they were behind or at the side of me, I wouldn't stop just because I wasn't looking where I was going. I'd look at them because they're talking to me, and I'd keep walking. I had 2 accidents doing that. 2. Not 1. The first one was I walked into a lamppost, so it smacked me right in the side of the head and hurt my ear. I tell you what, never bang your ear, that hurts. The second one, you know I don't know if America has drains like we do, but we have these drains, these square things at the side of the road. Luna, that's my rug. And obviously they have covers on them. But I used to have this thing when I was Ellie's age. I used to walk at the side of the road. I was against the curb, but, you know, I wasn't on the path where I should be. And for whatever reason, there was a drain cover missing. And because I'd heard someone, I thought they'd been shouting me. I turned around but carried on walking. Oh no, she's having a... She's on one. She's doing her thing. Anyway, yeah. I thought someone had shouted me, so I turned, but I didn't stop walking. And I never realised that one of these drains didn't have their cover on it. Someone had been a clever person and removed the drain cover. And I think it was my right leg, went straight down the manhole. Yep. Sliced my leg pretty bad. So I went home. Dad took a picture. And he rang the council. The drain cover was put back on, I think, the same day. So my mum put me back together. Not the first time my mum's had to put me back together. Running through the snow with my brother. I don't know if I've told you all these stories before, by the way, so, you know, if you're hearing them for the second time, sorry. If you're hearing them for the first, I think you're just starting to realise just how accident prone I am. I've had about 6 or 7 sprains when I was a kid, but anyway. This one winter it had snowed, and me and my brother were running through the snow. I believe he was chasing me at the time. And me, I tripped, fell over, and I whacked my head. I wasn't sure on what, it was covered in snow. So I had a look and it was a rock. And right, I was so damn lucky, I tell you, right in my eyebrow, just above my eyebrow, right on the edge, I split my head open. My mum said I was so lucky to not have just been a couple more inches and it would have taken my eye. Not even a couple of inches, I don't think. My eyebrow's not that big. But yeah, I have got a scar above my eye from that. You can't see it unless I raise my eyebrows at you, so we're all good. I fell off my brother's bike before that he told me not to get on. As you do, you know. As a kid, someone tells you not to do something, what's the first thing you're going to do? Exactly. You know? The amount of times I fell over, just in general. I could fall over thin air, I could. I think my mum actually said that to me once. You know, there'd be a piece of paper on the floor and I'd fall over it. When Reese was little, you know these little wooden building blocks you buy the kids and they kind of stack them and build them into whatever they want? Reese had a set of those when he was little and he was forever leaving them on the carpet. And I stood on one, rolled my ankle, and I actually think I dislocated my ankle at the time and popped it back in again in the same, you know, fall. I felt the pop, and then as I was sort of rolling onto the floor, I felt it pop back in. Oh my days. I've stood on plugs as well. You know when someone unplugs something and they leave the plug on the floor with the prongs facing upwards. Yep, I've even stood on one of those. You wouldn't believe the amount of things I've trod on. I've lost my needle, where's it gone? Do you know what, the other night, you know when you've gone wrong on your stitching and you take your needle off the thread and you use your needle to kind of hook your stitches to pull them back out? Well, I was doing that and I don't know if a knot came in the thread or what, but you know when it stops and your hand just keeps going? Well, I did that. The needle flung straight out of my hand. Do you know what? I haven't been able to find it yet. I have no idea where it went. I've looked, don't get me wrong, I've looked. And then Ellie, I think it was the same day, she says, Mum, there's a needle on the kitchen floor. It wasn't the same needle, because I think that was earlier. I said, you know what, I'll pick it up in a minute, I just need to wash my hands because I've been out or I've been to the bins or something. By the time I'd washed and dried my hands, I forgot, and it wasn't till later that evening I went in the kitchen. I said, Ellie, did you pick that needle up? She said, no, I thought you were. Well, I said I was, but I don't know. Brain fart, I think. So that needle replaced the one that, you know, I've slung across the front room somewhere. I'm forever losing needles. I found a diamond in my bed the other night. I have absolutely no idea where that one came from. It's a black square. And Ellie said, well, the only one on the table that I've worked on recently is round. So, oh, you haven't got the foggiest idea where that came from. Mind you, I quite often walk around with cross-stitch threads stuck to my clothes. And Ellie will go, Mom. And she'll be pointing at me and I'm like, what? I can't see what you're looking at. And she'll pull off a thread. Oh, so that's where it went. Honestly, I lose everything. Even though I think I'll put it there, it'll be safe. Nothing is safe in my house or in my hands. Nothing. The computer used to die and my other half would look straight at me and go, you got the hands of death. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I switched it on. That's all I did. He says, no, you've clicked something. I did not. I did not. Innocent until proven guilty. I didn't do it. And then my phone will mess up and something won't be working right, and they'll say, I know exactly what you've done. I haven't done anything. I don't touch nothing because I know I don't understand it. I won't do anything. He says, but you've done this, and I go, I haven't. He'll say, you have. You'll have done it by accident. Well, it must have been by accident then, because I haven't got a clue. And he'll set it all straight for me. Yeah. It was him that did the new... Well, hey, I've got a knot. Hold on. There you go. It was him that did the new intro. I gave him the ideas and I told him what to do. And then I let him do it. Don't ask me to do it. It just won't go straight. Nothing ever goes to plan when I plan things. Except when I make cookies. I never seem to go wrong on that one. Especially my white chocolate cookies. And you know when you go to snap the cookies in half and it's still really, really soft and it just pulls apart so smoothly. Yeah. They're the best. That's how I make my cookies. I haven't made any in a long time. I usually make white chocolate ones and chocolate orange ones. Obviously not both the same in the same cookie. I mean separate white ones. And then I make the brown chocolate orange ones, which you shred up a terrace chocolate orange into fine pieces. And it goes into the cookie. So nice. I will have to see about making them in the air fryer, because I'm sure I've read you can make cookies in the air fryer. I've stopped using my cooker because gas is so expensive at the moment. So I've stopped using it. I use my air fryer for everything. And I love my air fryer. I don't have a fan assisted gas oven, so everything never used to cook evenly. So it was just, you know, all the edge ones were probably crisp and too hard for your teeth if I did fries. But the air fryer, oh my days. Perfect fries. As long as I keep my eye on them and don't get, you know, sidetracked or distracted. Which, when you've got kids at home, yeah. They'll come in and speak to you and then it's like, you've got to go and sort out whatever it is they want or they need, and you come back and then it's like, oh my gosh, it's been like 10 minutes. As long as you keep every 2 or 3 minutes pulling the drawer out the air fryer, giving it a good shake up, the fries come out amazing. I've even cooked chicken in there. And cooking times is reduced. I mean, fries in the oven, because it's not fan assisted, it used to take about half an hour. 10 minutes, 12 minutes at most. Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups now. In my air fryer. They're done. Perfect. And it's so much easier on me because I can just let Ellie get on with it as well. Which she does quite often. I mean, what was it the other day? I didn't feel very well. And I just said to Ellie, can you do tea? I really don't feel very good. And she did, bless her. Yeah, anything and everything goes in my air fryer. except vegetables. Well, technically not, because roasters class as vegetables. And I've done roasters in there. They need a bit of perfecting. Potatoes are vegetables. How did you not know potatoes are vegetable, Ellie? Yeah, just get on with schoolwork. What?
You done something wrong?
No, I've just already marked that off for some reason. I don't know why I would have done that, because I haven't even finished the row. So I confused myself. I downloaded March's pattern for that wolf sal that I'm doing. And then I read a note on their Facebook page saying about there was a fault in February's piece. And I was panicking, thinking, oh my gosh, I've nearly done with February. I don't need to be going back unpicking, I really don't. But I had to keep reading. It's halfway down the moon, which I'm not even halfway down yet, so I've flicked to March's pattern. And I'm working it from there just to make sure I don't make the mistake, whatever the mistake was. But yeah, some people have already done March's piece, and I'm like, so jealous. I'm not even there yet. I haven't touched it in a few days. I need to. I've been working on Alexandrite. I've been having fun with that. I think I need just 1,000 more on Alexandrite. That's February's done. No. March is done. Then I just need to do the shooting star, the other one. And I feel like I need to clarify something as well, because I nearly made Abra choke on her coffee. On my floss tube I said I could do 1,000 stitches in an evening on my Carolyn Manning designs, and it made Abra nearly choke on a coffee. So let me just explain. An evening, it depends. Everyone has like a different time span for what they call evening. Now my evening is usually sort of 4 o'clock up till I go to bed, which is usually 10, half 10. So we've got what, 6.5 hours. So 1,000 in 6.5 hours is pretty good for me. And I can usually get about that done. And the other night I think I did 990 something. But I just wasn't going to go that bit extra because I had to get a new thread out for that, and I didn't want to do that. So yeah, in about 6.5 hours I can. It's not like an evening is 3-4 hours for me. I class it sort of just before tea time. Talking of tea, I've got to get that in a minute, because it is 5:20. My kids come downstairs at bang on 5 o'clock. It's tea time, Mum. So I'm going to have to go in a sec. I've got tea to cook. But thank you for stopping in and letting me have a bit of a ramble about all my accidents and my cats and the snow, which is all gone, and it better not come back. Mind you, the bit we had is nowhere near the amount that I've seen over in America, so I feel really sorry for you guys, because that looks horrendous. We have a little bit here and everybody panics. The school's shut. The buses stop. It's unreal, really. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to let you guys go. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much for you. Oh no, not. Oh no. I've now got to pull that out. Look how tiny that is. Okay guys, anyway, it's Friday, so have a great weekend, whatever you do. I'm going to unknot this in a minute. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, have a great week after your weekend as well. Take care, stay safe as usual, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.